It's BR Boxing. We're back. Myself and Elliot Stott. We're here again in review mode. And to be honest with you, what we're reviewing here is another shock. As every time we speak to each other on this day of reckoning, we are bringing you a shock, and that is the victory of Joseph Parker, unanimous decision victory of Parker over Deontay Wilder. The return of Deontay Wilder tonight. Elliot Stott. Look, let's be honest about it. Deontay Wilder been out of the ring for a long time. Comes back in obviously tonight against Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker, a man who was kind of rebuilding his career after that loss to Joe Joyce. I think everyone expected. I mean, you saw on the fan zone and the zone, everyone at 75%, I think, predicting Wilder victory. Parker boxed him brilliantly, to be fair. Obviously, the UD victory. But can I just get your thoughts on what you've witnessed there, and then we'll touch a bit more on the themes of the fight and go from there.
Sure. Thanks for having me on as always, Elliot. Shocks, disappointed, upset. I wasn't kind of supporting either fighter tonight. It's Saturday night. It's 2 days before Christmas. You just kind of want to be entertained. This was billed as an entertaining fight. And look, happy for Joseph Parker, biggest win of his career. He's always comes across very well. So excited for what's kind of next in his career. I hope he gets kind of secures big fights for 2024. I remember when Joseph Parker did look great against Jack Massey beginning of this year. I'm not sure many people would have predicted him to finish the year like this. And yeah, look, there's a lot going through my head at the moment, but just disappointed because I don't think it was a very good fight despite the upset. And we're kind of waiting for Wilder to spring into action. And 8, 9 rounds in, it was just kind of fairly obvious that was never going to happen. So just a very strange performance from Deontay Wilder tonight.
Yeah, no, I agree. Very, very strange performance. And I think from what you've been saying, I suppose if we look at it, Joseph Parker's a guy that hasn't necessarily got a big KO percentage against fighters of what is supposed to be Wilder's class. So in many ways, I might be putting words into your mouth there, but myself of the opinion that the fight necessarily wasn't entertaining because of the performance of Deontay Wilder, who, like you say, didn't necessarily get going until or at all really, but he didn't even start to wake up seemingly till about the eighth or the ninth round. Very nearly he got hurt at one point in the corner, but again, Parker didn't have the power to stop him. I think one thing that we noticed, we both noticed at the time, was that at the end of the fight, Wilder raised his hand into the air, as suggesting that he may even edge a decision, or that he thought he was doing better than he was. Is that a worrying sign for you? Is that a level of kind of delusion akin to the kind of second Fury fight where he was coming out with all types of excuses? Like is that a worrying state of mind for you that you witnessed there?
Absolutely, he's made himself look silly by doing that. In what I don't think anyone out there could give him more than 3 rounds, let alone have him winning the fight. So I don't know why he was raising his hand. I don't know if it was delusional. No, I can't explain why he was doing that, but it is worrying that he was doing that after losing pretty much every round. And it did remind me of the second Fury fight. I do wonder what's going to happen now with Wilder in terms of, is he going to come out later and make something up, or come up with a crazy excuse like he did for that second Fury fight a couple of years ago? We don't know. But yeah, to answer your question, no idea why he did that. But yes, it is a bit worrying.
Well, you mentioned obviously what's going to happen next, and we'll touch on that. Before we go on to that, I want to ask you just a little bit more about Deontay Wilder, because a lot of his career has almost been kind of overshadowed with this criticism that he hasn't fought certain level of fighters. He's had a sort of padded record to a certain degree, knocked out people that aren't necessarily at world level. Obviously Fury aside, obviously being the opponents, and there's been a few others, obviously Luis Ortiz, but again he was considered by some people to be 50 plus. But you look at obviously the man he's fought tonight, Joseph Parker, again, a guy who's, to be fair, top 10 heavyweight, still in the magazine ranking, so a credible opponent, but hasn't obviously performed. Do you subscribe to the view that this was the Wilder that we've always had, that's almost been exposed again here against Joseph Parker, or do you think this was a kind of a new version of Wilder, but one that was much diminished from the sort of Fury trilogy era?
I think halfway through the fight, Richie Woodall on comms said that Wilder looked like a shadow of his former self, and I think that sums it up pretty well. Wilder has boxed 1 round in 2 years, 38 years old. Look, we all asked the question going into this fight: what does Wilder have left? And we didn't. The answer to the question at that time was we didn't know. We're not in training camp with him. We didn't see butcher him in the Hellenius fight, but we could see that he still had that powerful right hand. that's my vision of it. I don't want. I think it's really important that when there's an upset, when there's a shock, don't take anything away from the fighter who's won. I think it's really important to do that. Congratulations to Joseph Parker, but I thought that Wilder, he looked kind of just looked quite physically weak. Tonight looked gun shy, which is when if you're Deontay Wilder, you can't be gun shy because that's what you're about. And looks lacking confidence, if I'm being honest. And yeah, look, I just think they've gone and picked Parker as an opponent when they shouldn't have done. Joseph Parker, I think, looks a former world champion. He's got some good wins on his resume. He's a lot younger than Deontay Wilder, has been active, which Wilder hasn't been. So just all very strange.
Yeah, we are going to give obviously the final word to this video to the winner of tonight, Joseph Parker. But I was going to ask you one more question really on Wilder. Obviously, you mentioned he looked weak, and to be honest with you, I was shocked at the leg size that he came into the ring with tonight. It looked like two pieces of string coming down from his shorts that he was standing up on, which was surprising. And the confidence thing, I totally agree with you. Even though in the build-up he looked relaxed, and there's always been that talk of that ayahuasca retreat or whatever, and finding enlightenment. But Deontay Wilder, like I said, we have lost. We don't want to overreact, but a lot of people obviously had him in the top 5 of the heavyweight division, and they were talking about fights that were going to come next, potentially against AJ. I think you and I have the opinion, and I'll put words in your mouth again, correct me if I'm wrong, but that AJ fight probably won't happen and definitely not happen next year. So if you are Deontay Wilder and you do continue to fight, who would you necessarily match him with? How would you try and rebuild him? And do you still consider him yourself? Can you consider him to be a top 5 fighter at this moment in the heavyweight division?
You can't consider him to be a top 5 fighter now. I don't think. It's a difficult question. If you were to ask me, like, what's my top 5 now? It's difficult to answer. Obviously, Usyk and Fury, I believe, are the top 2 and the top 2 by some distance. I think I do have Zhang at number 3 personally. Joshua, it's hard to judge because we don't really know where he's at in his career, and we're just about to see him fight, so I don't want to say anything stupid. But I don't think you can have Wilder in your top 5 anymore, personally. In terms of if Wilder is to fight on, you need to have someone who's a bit more tailor-made for him, I would say. One thing about tonight was there was quite a big difference in weight, and I think we saw that. Wilder, I think, came in at 213 pounds at the weigh-in yesterday. Parker around 2 stone more than that. So I just think Wilder needs to fight someone who's just a bit more his sort of size if he is to fight again, which I'm not convinced he will.
Again, as I said, we'll give the last word to Joe Parker, who fought a terrific fight tonight. Don't want to take anything away from him. He obviously doesn't have the power of Wilder. He nullified Wilder's power. Won on points convincingly, had Wilder hurt as well. So fantastic performance from him in a fight that everyone expected him, or most people expected him to lose. Obviously, a lot of that was also attributed to his partnership with Andy Lee and saying that tactically and technically he looks better than he has done previously. Obviously, last time that was against Simon Keane, wasn't necessarily the best fighter, but everyone's going the signs there that that partnership is going to be fruitful. What I'm going to ask you is, where do you see Joe Parker go next? Do you see him potentially fighting AJ next? Or do you see him now as actually giving himself a real shot of being a sort of top 5 in the division and making some bigger fights and maybe having another shot at a world title at some stage?
Yes, I think he'll be one of the names mentioned to fight the winner of Joshua versus Wilder, whoever that is. He'll definitely, obviously, Wilder won't be in that mix now, and Parker will 100% be one of the names. Obviously, we have seen Joshua versus Parker, but that fight was a while ago now. You can paint that as both fighters have changed now, so that I wouldn't rule that out for 2024. If it's not the winner of if it's not Joshua next for Parker, I think it wouldn't surprise me if they'll have some discussions about some of the fighters who have appeared tonight. Frank Sanchez, Ajit Kabayel. I think I think those fights are a possibility. I hope, I think, yeah, I hope so. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Parker, this is his 4th fight this year. But he's not fought a top 15, top 20, anyone near the top 20, in my opinion, this year. So really, you want to see him kind of step up the opposition, which he's done tonight. And I hope he continues to do that. But we'll see. Look, again, congratulations to Joseph Parker. I think he'd always come across very well. And you have to kind of take your hat off to him here. And yeah, I really hope he lands another big fight next.
Cruel question, but I can't let you go without answering it. Just one answer, one word, please. AJ fights Parker next. We haven't seen AJ fight Wallen tonight, so we don't know what he looks like. But who would you lean on that one? You still reckon AJ'd have enough? Or do you reckon Parker may even get a point decision against him? Just one. Who's going to win?
Joshua. I think Joshua would win again on points.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Elliot Stott. Thank you for joining me, lads. Let us know in the chat who, if you agree with this or disagree with this. Let us know your thoughts really on what happened with Deontay Wilder tonight and where you'd like to see Joe Parker go next. As always, Elliot Stott, it's a pleasure talking to you. We're going to bounce off now and see AJ fight Wallen and see where we're going to go from there. Everyone, thank you very much for listening to us. Elliot, thank you for joining us. And always, thank you guys for watching.
Thanks, mate.